So, Bob Mwiti, as I said, is the program managing director, and is the one who started actually this initiative. And he graduated, I think, 12 years ago from a very small school in Pennsylvania. It's called Indiana University of Pennsylvania, where he did a master's of MBA in professional accountancy. So we went to the school actually, I think 2 months ago, to sign the official partnership. So the school is our official partner. We take students there. We have a number of students who are going there to do MBA in supply chain management. And the good thing about MBA in supply chain management, our program majorly is oriented to courses, to programs which are STEM courses. STEM means it's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And that MBA at the school is considered a STEM course. I will explain details about that later on. So when Bob got out of school, and it's not just after getting out of school, out of his own experiences, personal experiences, he came up with his initiative. Personal experiences, right from the time he decided that, you know what, I'm going to go outside, either in the US, outside Kenya, to pursue this dream of making my life better. So he was denied visa 4 times. He got his visa in the 5th time. You can imagine going at the embassy every time and a denial. You are issued with a denial. It's a lot of resilience. To get denied all those times and rise up again and walk again the journey, it's something incredible. So out of these experiences, and then he goes to school, gets done with MBA, which was non-STEM by that time. The limitation of non-STEM courses is that when it comes to work authorization, the US government puts a lot of weight on the significance. There is a lot of significance on STEM courses than non-STEM courses. A STEM courses will give you 3 years of work authorization in the US as you walk the journey of now getting your work papers filed by your specific companies that will employ you. So you are given 3 years of work authorization as you walk the journey towards now even becoming a permanent resident. But now when it comes to a non-STEM course, you are given only 1 year of work authorization. And 1 year, you know, after 1 year, you have to try what is called H-1B visa, which is a lottery. You have to try it. There are very few lotteries that are given to international students for the H-1B visa. So you might try the first year and you don't get it. So if you don't get it and you are given only 1 year of work authorization, then what happens? You just have 1 year of work authorization. You have done a non-STEM course. You have tried the H-1B visa. It doesn't work out. And actually, within that specific period of 1 year, you have to have a company you are attached to working. You are not supposed to be unemployed. After school, you are not supposed to be unemployed for more than 3 months. You become an illegal immigrant. So even if you are not, maybe you are working as a volunteer somewhere, which is acceptable for anyone who is under work authorization, but after 1 year, you need a job that can file for your papers. You need to win this lottery. So what happens is that if you don't get it, and it was 1 year, you don't have any other year to try. So when you have done a STEM course, you have 3 years. If you don't get it within the first year, you can get it you can try the second year, you can try the 3rd year. So Bob found himself in this kind of challenges, getting a job that can sustain him in America, and a job that actually can potentially lead to him getting his papers in order, papers of staying in America. So getting a job was crazily insane for him. Save for a few Indians that they used to school with, they linked him up with some jobs in business analytics, robotic process automation, and through the training that they earned in robotic process automation, he was able to get a job at Citibank. And Citibank was now able to complete the other work processes for him, the right papers for work for him. But it was challenging for him. It was quite challenging. And from his experience, and from my own experience, because I've served also as a business analyst in the US, there's a high demand for people in robotic process automation. You become either a technical or a functional analyst. That is, you are among the people who assesses the requirements of companies and trying to implement different features for the company. So there's a high demand for people in those areas. There's a high demand for people, for personnel in the US, in areas like data science, in areas like cybersecurity, business analytics, that is robotic process automation and all that. So he gets a job where he's earning a fortune, more than $1 million Kenyan shillings per month. And through his experience in these jobs, he starts the company. A company whereby it can train consultants in these areas. Consultants in robotic process automation, consultants in data science, and cybersecurity. So he starts the company, quits his job, and now he's faced with another big crisis. Where does he get the right people to work for the company, for the consulting company? And that's when the idea of him getting the right brains from Kenya to go to the US to do masters, and then when they are done with their masters, is able to actually assist them get jobs in these areas. That's where the idea came from. So it started now. That is when the program started. He now is in search of brilliant minds to take to the US. You do your masters. He now starts training. The company starts training for you in these areas while you are still doing your masters. And when you get out of school now, you now struggle with the question of where you can get your job. The company can do job placement for you in those areas. So that is where the idea came from. And as I said, I met him when this idea was just sprouting from the ground. And I've seen it all because I've been there in these all processes, getting done with my studies, working as a business analyst, and then dedicating much of my time for the program where I work as a business development manager. So when he started the company, now the Kenya Lift program, initially I said it was called the Scholars Program, that the idea was built on the fact that he would like to get Kenyans to stand in the US, and after their masters, they're able to get into corporate jobs in the US, which pay well. You're not paying like any other typical person outside there. Because people in the US most people will tell you that earning $10 per hour is a lot of money in the US. That's pocket change. That's very little. That's actually is what someone who doesn't have any skill earns in the US. A job where you can be told that go and do something that is like a job where you can just prepare, you cut grass somewhere, or a job where you just wash sufuria somewhere, or a job where you just go and prepare some pizza somewhere. That's the job which pays the minimum wage, which is $10, around $10 per hour. But these jobs, they pay well. I've been there. Most of the jobs, the starting baseline is $50 per hour in business analytics. $50 per hour. And there are jobs which even go to $100 per hour for those who have been in the game for a long time. So, but people will tell you, you know, most of the people here, you'll hear stories that nurses aren't so well in the US. I'm not refuting that, but you know, earnings are relative. You see, someone who is earning $20 per hour might feel that is a lot of money as compared, is a lot of money when speaking to people who are not even able to earn such an amount of money per day. But there are people who earn a lot of money in the US, especially in these fields.
You're watching Success with Bob Mwiti Show, presented to you by Tech America. Tech America is a consulting company that helps immigrants find amazing higher education and job opportunities in the tech industry in the United States. You can find our programs by going to www.appstechamerica.com. Tech America, we wake you up to the unlimited potential within you.
There's nothing as just walking a journey that you're at least seeing that it's materializing to something. So the essence of the program, you see, is not just to take someone in the US and then you are done with your studies. You don't know what is happening after you're done with your studies. The company is founded on the fact that we want to take you to the US. And what happens? The only way we can transform the society is if you can be able to get a job where you can actually be able to extend your hand to help other people. And that is what the company has been doing. We have people working for different companies in the US because our company is a consulting company. That means that there are companies which are looking for personnel in these areas. And they reach out to our company on a daily basis, asking for those personnel, but they are not there. The demand is more than the demand overstretches the supply. Most of the Americans, they don't want to do these jobs. Mostly, you'll find out that there are Indians who are doing these jobs. Maybe on a very isolated cases, you're going to find a Kenyan doing these kind of jobs because they don't know that. We as Kenyans, we know about nursing. Going to the US and doing nursing. Going to the US, maybe earning that $10. You know, $10 per hour is the amount of money that most of the students are able to earn that sustains them to be able at least to pay their rent. That's the amount of money for students. It's not the amount of money that someone who is done with their studies is supposed to earn. Those are jobs which don't need any skill. So that's the whole essence of the program. So when the program started, we had very few schools that we were partnering with. But now we have around 22 schools that we have partnership, not official partnership. We have 5 schools which we have official partnerships with, but we also take students to other different schools which we don't have any formal engagement with. We just take students there. We have partnership with a school like my alma mater, that's the University of Alabama in Huntsville. We have official partnership with my university was actually the first school to come on board as a partner. And then we got some other universities which came later on. So we have a partnership with Indiana University of Pennsylvania, where Bob was an alma mater. We have a partnership with the South Dakota State University in South Dakota. We have a partnership with Grand Valley State University in Michigan. And we have a partnership with another fifth school. I'm just trying to remember. Sorry, Missouri. How am I forgetting? We actually in Missouri last month to sign a partnership. Missouri State University. That was the most recent partner that we have in the program. And these partners, they want students to go and study in those schools. And that is how the program has grown. We have schools like University of South Florida. We have schools like Illinois State University. We have schools like Keelan University in North Carolina. We have schools like North Carolina State University. We have schools like Kansas State University. We have University of Delaware. We have students, 6 students who have got their visas. They are going to the University of Delaware, where Joe Biden was a student. We have Montclair State University, where Brian is going, in New Jersey. We have another school in New Jersey, it's called Rowan University. We have Michigan Technological University in Michigan, just so close to Canada. That shows how the program has grown. And we want to accommodate more and more students to join this noble cause. Because honestly, we are in a situation whereby things are moving from bad to us. And the best arsenal that we can use to transform our society is education. And I can tell you, having the profile of higher education in the US it makes things better for you. Even if it's just the exposure that you get out of going there, that is the most important thing. I think even if someone goes there and decides to come back, they don't come back as the same person, the same persons. I think we have also cities which are coming up, techno cities which are coming up. We have Kansas City. I believe that most of you, those who will not find the US as a good place for them, I'm not saying, I'm not like saying the US is not a good place, but there are people who are so much attached to being at home. If you find yourself in such a situation, you are the kind of people, the technocrats that we need to transform cities like Kansas and other cities which are technological cities that are coming up, especially at this time when Kenya is looking forward towards becoming a Silicon Savannah. So that is what we want. If you go to the US, personally, when I went to the US, I didn't intend of coming back to Kenya. Of course, not just coming to visit, but coming back to start working again, looking for a job in Kenya. That was not my intention, because I know there are so many opportunities there. And the only way, our program is not just like any other program there, that someone will take you just from Kenya and drop you to the US and then you figure out things by yourself. The program is about transitioning you from school to work, because that's the most critical stage. Maybe you have had people from wherever you come from who have stayed in the US for like 10 years. They have never come back home again. And sometimes you think, ni swag. Some of them, they don't have the right papers to come back. The moment you step out of the US, you don't have the means of going back there again, because possibly you are an illegal immigrant. So they choose to stick there. So someone stays in the US for 20 years or so. They have never come back home. And maybe we celebrate because we don't know. There is a high crisis, illegal immigration crisis in the US. Illegal immigrant. The moment your papers are not in the right order, you don't have a job, you fall out of status. Inakuwa wewe sasa unakuwa mtu wa kukimbia sasa serikali, like you don't want, you just play tit and tat with the government. Yeah, so that's I think I can see Janet there. Actually took time to notice it's you. Janet is also going to the US. I think our visa is in the final processes. She's going to Grand Valley State? Yeah. Grand Valley State University. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, so those are success stories that we have. And I hope everybody will join this course. So in order to join our program, you know, we also want to attract the right minds. We don't want to have our program is not for every person. It's for people who are ready to make that resolve to invest in themselves. Sometimes there's Jeff Bezos saying that when you give something for free, people might end up not even taking it because it loses its value. And so to maintain the value of our program is not for free. We have to see commitment from anyone who is joining, because that is what will tell us that this is a serious student who is ready to invest in themselves. So to join our program, one thing is that you need finances. I'm not saying that it's something that is unattainable. For most of you, we are very considerate, actually, when it comes to issues of the finances. And apart from finances, I'll talk about that. You also need to be a person who has performed well. We don't actually accept anyone in the program if they earn less than a C+. And that is why this meeting was, the messages that we sent were sent to only those who are C+ and above. And in the program, we have two programs. We have the regular program, the regular option, and we have the parallel option. Just like the way the Kenyan universities work. So, upon payment of, because we have a circle where we pool the resources to enable in this whole journey. So our program has a circle registration of $100. And apart from a circle registration, there is also an amount of $1,000 that someone has to make to the program. And this amount, the way you make it, determines, and your qualifications determine whether you're going to join the regular option or the parallel option. For the regular option, we assist them, anyone who joins the regular option, we usually assist them in covering for the relocation expenses from this pool of resources that we have in the circle. So when someone joins the regular program, they don't have to worry about the flight tickets. They don't have to worry about visa expenses. They don't have to worry about first month accommodation in the US, because we help fund them by giving them a soft loan which they pay later on from this circle pool of resources. So, but here's the catch. For someone to join the regular program, they have to have attained a minimum of a B and above overall in KCSE, and a B and above in mathematics. And the reason why we have set it as B and above in overall and in mathematics is because if someone chooses the regular option, they have to sit for GMAT exam. GMAT exam is quite tough. As I said, it harassed me in the first trial before I sobered up and made another trial. So if someone joins the regular program, they have to sit for this GMAT exam and pass. So when you have sat for GMAT exam and passed, you know that you don't have to pay for any of your relocation expense, because the company now, the program now takes care of that. But you have to pass the exam. If you do and fail, we don't fund you. You have to try again. We actually give you a chance to try once again, another trial. If you fail in the second trial, you join now the parallel option. So the parallel option works like this. We have those who don't have B and above in KCSE overall, and they don't have B and above in mathematics. So the parallel option becomes the best choice for them. And there are those who also don't want to sit for GMAT. They are like, you know what, you guys, I don't want you to help me in the relocation expenses. I'm going to take care of that. I don't want to sit for this exam. I just want assistance to get a school and get to the US. So if you don't want to sit for GMAT, because there are those who have scored even A's and they are like, I don't want to sit for this exam, they join the parallel program. And for the parallel program now, we don't take care of any relocation expenses for you. You just dig deep into your pockets and pay for that from your own pockets. But relocation expenses, they are not the cost of standing and living expenses in the US. I said standing in the US is very expensive. Living expenses, they are quite high. If you happen to stay somewhere in a student apartment, possibly you're gonna be paying something like $600 per month as rent, which is quite an amount. So it doesn't matter which program you are in. What we do is that to cover for these, not relocation expenses. I want you to separate relocation expenses now. Relocation expenses are the ones that are taking you from Kenya now to the US. From the moment you are applying for visa, paying for your GMAT, flight ticket, first month accommodation in the US. I'll give you a reason why we say first month accommodation in the US. When I talk about now the other part, the living expenses and cost of standing now in the US. So what happened? The cost of standing and living expenses, it's quite high. The fees and living expenses is quite high. If you happen to go to my former school, you have to prove to the embassy and you have to prove to the school before they can issue with an I-20 that you have adequate finances to cover for the cost of standing and living expenses. For my school per annum, I had to prove that I won't be able to pay an estimated amount of like 5 million Kenyan shillings, which I didn't pay. Of course, I had to prove that to the embassy, and I have to prove that to the school. But I had already gotten a scholarship, so I didn't pay anything. I'll give that also for those who came later on. So what we do, we come from very humble backgrounds. If I ask you for 5 million now, where are you going to get it? I don't want to guess where you come from. Personally, I don't come from a very able family. Just bonded fairly able, but not really able. But I don't think even someone who comes from a deep state family, someone would be really willing to get out of their pockets 5 million Kenyan shillings to go and stand in the US. And that's one year. So what we do is that We have partnership with different lenders, international student lenders. We have two partnership with, one of the lender is actually an official partner with the Kenya Airlift program. It's called Empower Financing. It's the largest international student lending organization in the US and Canada. So that is where our students usually get money from to cover for their cost of study and living expenses in the US. We have another partnership with another lender called Discover, which also funds our students. And that is where now we get money to ensure that our students stay in the US is good. You don't struggle. You are able to cover for this amount of fees and also live a decent life. So essentially, that's how the program works. I think there are so many things that I will be discussing also in regard to that.
You've been watching Success with Bob Mwiti Show, brought to you by Upstack America. Come back next time to hear more steps and missteps that I took on the path to becoming a successful immigrant in USA. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn.